Hi, my name is James Shepard, and in this video, I've got a series going on. We're talking about how to sell credit card processing. In this video, I want to talk about how much can you make selling leases or selling equipment when doing merchant services. As a merchant services sales rep, how much can you make selling leases? Now, the reason I'm making this video, I want to make it really clear right off the bat for those of you that are going to comment below this video about how I'm a terrible person. I'm not saying that you should sell leases, okay? It's just that this is so prevalent in the industry, I need to explain how leasing works, how much money you can make, and also I'm certainly going to talk about the downside of leasing, all right? So what is a lease in the first place? So let's talk about credit card machines. Credit card terminals, we're going to talk about the US and Canadian market right now. The latest and greatest credit card machines in the US market cost somewhere in the range of $200 to $400. So you've seen these little credit card machines that are all over the place in these little stores. $200 to $400 is about how much a credit card machine costs brand new in the United States. In the Canadian market, because of additional EMV requirements and compliance requirements, it's a little more expensive. Most terminals there in Canadian dollars are going to cost somewhere between $350 to maybe $650 for most of the credit card machines that are used in the Canadian market. So in other words, if your small business client said, I want to go buy a credit card machine of my own, it would cost them in the States $200 to $400, in the Canadian market $350 to $650. Now, when I say that you get a free credit card machine, so like if you came and sold for us, we don't sell leases. What we do is we sell free equipment. Now in the Canadian market, we do have a leasing program for our sales partners up there because it's still so prevalent in the Canadian market and well accepted by merchants. But the honest truth is it's a lot easier to just go out there and sell free equipment because they don't have to pay anything for it, they get it for free. The only downside is it is a loaner. In other words, when they get a terminal, it's not a free terminal they get to keep. It's not like, here's a terminal, Mr. Jones. No, it's a loaner. So we give them a free terminal to use as long as they're processing with us. As soon as they leave our processing company and switch to somebody else, they have to mail our terminal back to us. It's our terminal, we're just loaning it to them, okay? So it's like a terminal loaner program, not really a free terminal, okay? So it's just a terminology that's used in the industry. So what are leases about? Well, one of the things that a lot of people will pitch in the industry is they'll say, look, Mr. Jones, you don't want to get one of these loaner terminals, you want to actually own a credit card machine. You want to own your own terminal. And so rather than you paying $600 up front, you can pay $29.95 a month for 24 months on a lease, okay? So that's what a lease is. A lease is basically a form of financing where they're paying for a terminal. Now, the downside of leases for the merchant is that they're usually wildly overpriced. I've seen companies, when I first got into business, the first company I worked with, I didn't know any better. I thought credit card machines must be really expensive. They were selling a lease at $99 a month for 60 months. That's $6,000 that the business owner would pay on the lease in order to get equipment that was worth probably about $500. It came with a pin pad and some other stuff. Probably about $500 worth of equipment, and they were paying $6,000 for it. Now, I don't care what you call that, that's a ripoff. That's a scam. So I never would recommend that you do that. I would stay as far away from that as you can. However, I do want to explain how leases work and how you make money on them. So if we take, let's use an example of a lease that's, that particular lease, for instance, okay? So let's say you sold a lease, $99 a month for 60 months, that's $6,000 that the leasing company is going to collect if the business owner pays their $99 per month over that 60 months or 5 years. So what the leasing company does when you sell a lease is that the leasing company looks at that $6,000 and they then discount it based on the person's credit and the reality of whether or not that person is going to pay back the loan. So if this is a business owner that has really low credit, out of that $6,000, they might pay out like $4,000 or maybe even $3,700, So they need to keep a big margin because the odds of that person paying all the way out are very, very slim. They're probably going to default on the lease and they're not going to collect all their money. So what they do is they take a percentage. Now, if that person has really good credit, they've been in business a long time, etc., out of that $6,000, they might pay out $4,800 of it out as like a commission. And the sales partner then, or the company that's doing the lease, they take that payout, then they pay for the terminal, $400 or $500 to buy the terminal. They place the terminal in the merchant's location, and they pocket the difference as profit. Now, the reason you need to understand how that works is because of a couple things. First of all, understand that there's a lot of companies, especially in the US market right now, that take a huge cut of that money. So they tell you to go out and sell a lease at $49.95 a month for 48 months, and you are going out there making these sales, and they might be making $2,000 or $3,000 every time you make a sale, and they're paying you a commission of $400 or $500. Well, that's a ripoff. You could have a direct relationship with a leasing company, and you could get the full $2,000 or $3,000, or better yet, you could lower your leasing prices and give the customer something more affordable that's not quite as much of a ripoff, and you can make the same amount of money. So you never want to do leases like through a third party. You always want to do leases directly with a leasing company, have the leasing company pay you directly, you get the credit card machine installed, and you're going to make a lot more money. Leasing is something where you always want to cut out the middleman. Now in the Canadian market, we have a leasing provider up there that we work with, and again, all we do is we get a referral credit. They give us a few bucks as a referral bonus when we send a deal to them, but we're not a third party. The money doesn't flow through us. We set our salespeople up to deal directly with the leasing company, and get this, in the Canadian market, our buy rate on a terminal is 0. In other words, the entire amount of money that the leasing company pays out, that entire amount goes directly to the sales partner. The reason that we do that in the Canadian market, again, is because we don't even lease in the U.S. market at all, because there's so many companies that do free terminals, it doesn't make sense. In the Canadian market, everybody does leasing, so we have to have a program available to you, but we want you to be able to give them the lowest possible monthly lease amount so that it's a reasonable deal for them. They're going to be able to pay it over time. They expect to pay some interest on that, but we don't want them to pay 5 times what the terminal actually cost, right? So it allows our sales reps to do leases that are a little bit more reasonable. So that's how a lease works. You make a lot of money on leasing. You can easily make $500 to $1,000 per sale on a lease. But to be honest with you, it's not worth it. The better thing to do is give free terminals out. Even in the Canadian market, we offer free terminals in the Canadian market too. Get the free terminals out there, as many as you can. You'll make a lot more sales. It's a lot easier to sell a free terminal, of course. And what's going to happen is your upfront money might be a little less, but over time, you're going to make a lot more sales, so you're going to make a lot more upfront money from that, and also your residual is going to build like 3 or 4 times as fast, and most importantly, your customers are going to love you because you're giving them a free terminal, and it's going to be a lot harder for somebody else to come in and flip that merchant because you've already given them a great deal. My name is James Shepard. If you want to learn more about joining our team, go to ccsalespro.com, or if you want to learn about joining our Canadian team, go to ccsalespro.ca. My name is James Shepard. Have a great day.